Hi, everyone. Welcome to our presentation. We are very happy to be here at ElasticON, harnessing the power of Elasticsearch for e-commerce. We are Luciane Précoupe and Aline Papono from Adelean. Yeah, we are very happy and thank you, Elasticsearch, for bringing us here. So Adelean, we are search technologies experts. We integrate Elasticsearch solutions and also other technologies like Solar and Lucene. We provide training, consulting, professional services. We also are software editors and developers of a solution for e-commerce search named A2. And to finish, we have a project named All.Site, which is a collaborative search engine, public search engine based on the decentralized solutions.
Yes. So you all know the Elastic Stack. I mean, you're at this conference, so obviously you know the Elastic Stack, and you know that you have at the heart of it two great technologies, which are Elasticsearch and Kibana, which together with their integrations can serve a lot of use cases. And on top of Elasticsearch and Kibana, you have modules and tools and vertical solutions that can serve really well use cases like observability, use cases like security, and even enterprise search. When it comes for observability, the Kibana and Elasticsearch based solutions, together with Beats and Logstash and XPack and all the alerting and monitoring and reporting that's available in XPack, you have a great on-the-shelf solution for observability. Yeah, you might. I mean, you might already use the Elastic Stack for observability. This is like the main use case for Elasticsearch today. For enterprise search, it's kind of the same thing. You have app search, you have a great web crawler, you have workplace search, you have integrations, connectors to bring data from GitHub, from Jira, from Zendesk, from SharePoint, you name it. So you have also, depending on your use case, a on-the-shelf solution that's built on top of Elasticsearch, and that takes advantage of Elasticsearch and Kibana. Now, when it comes to e-commerce, actually Elasticsearch and Kibana are used a lot in a lot of e-commerce and retail implementations, but there's no like vertical solution available on the shelf. The advantage of Elasticsearch and Kibana is that they are open, they are open solutions, and they are very powerful, very generic, and you can build a lot of things with them. And this is why you also have a lot of e-commerce use cases among Elasticsearch, among use cases of Elasticsearch. So what's so special about e-commerce? Why? Well, yeah, why e-commerce needs special attention? Actually, even though enterprise search is the closest domain to e-commerce search, e-commerce is really different, and depending on the where you deploy your e-commerce solution, you can have different deployments. Again, the advantage of Elasticsearch and Kibana is that they are generic, they can serve a lot of use cases, and you can build e-commerce solutions for all the e-commerce and retail use cases that you can imagine. In e-commerce, you have a specific user experience. E-commerce is a great consumer of autocomplete use cases. You have faceted search, you have navigation. You also have a specific data model that's around products, variants, offers. Quite often you have marketplaces that are involved, and offers are quite heterogeneous. You have different prices, different availabilities. You also have a lot of business needs around synonyms, extensions, taxonomies, hierarchies, categories. You need a really custom relevance, because in e-commerce text is not enough. You need a relevance that's based on personal information and personal preferences, and you also have a business need to adjust the relevance. Like you have merchandising, you have activities like marketing activities, you have seasonality, you have plenty of things that are around relevance. There's also a domain that's specific for e-commerce that's called searchandising, because you have popular query optimization, you have redirects, you have zero results optimization, you also need actionable insights, you need dashboarding and monitoring, like business monitoring, in order to adjust the relevance of your search engine based on the feedback that you get on how your search engine is used. And then when it's about speed, you have a need for a lot of speed in read mode. Okay, this is different from observability, where you need to write very quickly and very often. You also need to write very quickly and very often in e-commerce, because you have to adjust prices, to adjust availability, but especially the reading performance should be really there. And also you have a scalability issue because of the periodicity and seasonality. Now, in terms of architecture, these are the modules that we think should be part of a e-commerce search solution. You kind of find here some modules that are also in enterprise search. You have an indexing part and a services part, and in the middle you have the core search engine. What's specific to e-commerce is that the search services are really like specific to e-commerce, and we will dig into that later. You also have the user experience, which is very important. This is why we included the UI there, and in terms of like crawling, it actually you actually need like a mini ETL in front of your search engine in order to aggregate prices, availabilities, product sheets, images, and plenty of stuff before sending them to the core search engine. You also have a module which is very important in e-commerce, which is the central module called Business Console, that ensures the consistency between the three parts of the search engine. So for the services, as I said, you need services that are quite specific. So of course you need search. E-commerce is a great an extensive user of auto-completion. Sometimes you need you use your search engine to display product details. You use it for navigation, for filtering, faceted navigation. You can also serve similar products, similar to a basket or to a product that you are viewing. So this is a specific search service. You need deduplication, for example, when you have variants, and then suggestions, alternative spelling. Sometimes also e-commerce is used. I mean, most of the time today is used on mobile, and you have like spell check and stuff like that. Now going back to the indexing part, the one that you saw at the left, this is a zoom on the indexing part. As I said, you need kind of a mini ETL upfront, your indexing layer, and of course you have tools like Logstash, but these the needs that the e-commerce use case have are again quite specific, and you often need more than transformations and things that Logstash can do. You have a lot of aggregations. Often the data is scattered around different systems. Prices are in a system, product sheets are in another system, availability is often in some different system, and depending on your use case, you have to join a lot of use cases. So joins are an important thing here. We actually use at Adelean Elasticsearch as an ETL search engine, but we separated it from the live Elasticsearch server, because this ETL Elasticsearch server is a working an intermediate version of the final index. So yeah, that's about the major modules of on the architecture, and now we will dig into all these in order to show you how companies that use Elasticsearch for e-commerce build solutions on top of Elasticsearch and Kibana. So we will not have the time to dig into all the details, but we will try to address most of them, and at least give you some tips and tricks and best practices to advance with that. As a general idea, you have to pay attention to the data model. There are three data models that you have to take into account. It's the one that's on the UI side, the one that's in Elasticsearch itself, and the one that you have on your data sources. You really need mappings between all these three models, and to handle these three steps separately. And then you also need consistency. You need that the ingestion part is consistent with the mappings and settings that you send to Elasticsearch, and consistent with the services that you want to provide on top of Elasticsearch, and even in your UI, so on the user experience level. It is very important that these three modules, indexing, core Elasticsearch, and UI and user experience, are together. This boils down even to having the same team that handles the three parts, and not three different teams, for example. Okay, now talking about a specific data model, what we have in e-commerce, you have a model which is around the product, and often products have variants, and then on top of variants you can have offers, and each offer can be quite heterogeneous, especially if you have marketplaces involved. This is an example about products and variants. We have here an article that has two variants, one that's size M, the other that's size L, and they also have different colors. And if you're familiar with Elasticsearch, you know that at the core of Elasticsearch you have Lucene, which actually flattens the data. So Elasticsearch has a very nice solution for that, which is the nested data type. And if this data type, which is sometimes a little less performing at search time, is not enough for you, you also have the alternative to use the code in your application in order to create the appropriate data models in Elasticsearch, and to go further. I was mentioning the business console, which is really the module that's the most important in e-commerce, and is the central one, the one that ensures that the consistency between all the modules. And this is an overview of what a business console, an e-commerce business console, can provide and should provide. This is what we generally provide in our e-commerce implementations. And this business console is actually built on top of Elasticsearch, and we also have Kibana that helps part of this implementation. So the business console is there to ensure the consistency of the configuration between ingestion and search services. Is there to ensure the the monitoring from the business point of view. So you can look at analytics and how your search engine is used. The Business Console is also a pilot for all the data indexing, and it tells if the prices are updated, if the stocks are updated, the availability is updated. The Business Console also serves as a debug interface, and you also have plenty of debugging options in Kibana. Again, so you can debug your relevance, you can debug your performance issues, and yeah, actually the Business Console helps in any domain. So synonym detections, non-regression, and yeah, you name it.
So following the Business Console features, you also would need some business monitoring. This can be provided by Kibana. Kibana allows yourself to have wonderful dashboards with a lot of information about what happened on the search engine, like frequent searches, how many zero result searches, how was the behavior then, of your users, how many people navigated to the second page. So you get a lot of information about the relevance of your application, about the performance as well, with the response times, the different, the way that users actually use your search engine. And as you know, working on the search engine this way is an actual job. We did a work about defining what is a search engine administrator and what is his or her life. For e-commerce or any search engine, it's also possible for enterprise search. So you can get to this presentation and get more information here.
Now let's dig into auto completion. So we will go very quickly on all the features that are important for e-commerce, just to give you an idea of how they are implemented in e-commerce search engines and e-commerce deployments. We won't have the time to dig into all the details, but we will try to at least give you a starting point. So as I mentioned, e-commerce is an extensive user of auto-completion, and you actually have not just one auto-completion, you have at least 5 auto-completions that you can build with Elasticsearch, and that are needed according depending on a use case in e-commerce. These are some tips. So of course you have the edge engram, and you also have some helpers like the search as you type data type. And when the module that you need is not there, you can always count on Lucene to help you. And this is an example. This is like auto-completion number 3. As I said, we have 5 auto-completions that we can implement at least. Which actually tells you how to extract keywords and key phrases that you can present in an auto-completion pop-up out of unstructured text. So this is something that's not available on the shelf in Elasticsearch, but you can easily build with analyzers and tools that are available in Lucene itself, which is at the core of Elasticsearch. So this is how we did it. So we used actually shingles to index parts of the text, and then once these shingles are in Elasticsearch, we get the most popular of them, and that brings us like nice keywords auto-completion, like in this screen. So you have to look at the keywords part here. For example, we typed in fan, and out of all the unstructured text that's in the database, we can extract the fact that fan can often be associated with heater, with desk fan, or with a bladeless fan, for example, or even with a brand, like in this case with Dyson. So as I said, we will not have the time to dig into all the details, but there's a very nice talk around auto-completion that talks specifically on auto-completion that you can find at Elastic Community Conference from last year. And if this one is in French, and you also have an English version that's available here. Yeah, so these talks go really into detail of everything you need to know about auto-completion with Elasticsearch. Now, very quickly about search services. So yeah, we won't really spend much time here because you all know Elasticsearch and you know all the query DSL that's very, very rich. So you have a lot of queries available there that allow you to construct what you need for search services. As I said, e-commerce needs like search, auto-completion, deduplication, suggestions, spell checking, etc. Now, relevance. Relevance is a very important subject in e-commerce, and you have like the need to handle the relevance from the user's point of view, from the business point of view, is really important, and the expectations are high in e-commerce. Now you have luckily, so you have a lot of tools available in Elasticsearch. So you have field boostings, you have a great tool that's the function score query. And I won't go into all the details again. We will give you all the hints to start. There's, for example, this minimum should match option that's available with the multi-match query, the match query actually, which allows you to do something between and or. So when you use and, like conjunctions of the terms that you typed, this is too restrictive. You might end up with 0 results. And when you use or, you have a lot of noise that comes back there. So minimum should match is like the right option to have something in the middle. So in this example, 2 superior 60% means that 2 words are mandatory, and above 2 words, when you, for example, you type a query that contains 4 or 5 words, then only 60% of these words are considered as mandatory. The others are considered as optional. So this is a good compromise between and or. And last but not least, you can also use machine learning and vectors in order to provide a really great relevance in some use cases. Yeah, again, we do not have the time to dig into all the details around relevance, but you have in this talk here, you have a lot of best practices that show you how to tune the relevance and how to like bring satisfaction to your users, search users. Facets and filters, which is also very important in e-commerce, and you have actually everything that's needed in Elasticsearch, because Elasticsearch has aggregations, and in observability, which is a use case that's the one that's the most supported by Elasticsearch. Aggregations are also very important. So the one that can do observability can also do faceted search. So it turns out that in e-commerce you have specific needs, and you need to like you have all the tools in Elasticsearch to implement that. Again, we just give you the starting point for that. You have this conference that actually goes into all the details about around facets, and yeah, you can like have an entire talk around facets and how to implement them with Elasticsearch. And this talk here actually goes beyond facets, and talks about like new ways of presenting data, ways that we see today with chatbots and visual assistants, and yeah, all the AI and machine learning that's coming, all the waves that are coming here. Okay, some other interesting use cases and useful use cases in e-commerce are redirections. We recommend, I mean, when you need redirections, you often create a specific index for that. That's filled in by the business people via the business console, and you have a great tool there. That's the multi-search query in Elasticsearch that allows you to like launch like a query on the redirections and on your products index. Did you mean and similar products are handled by the more like this query, which is they're available since version 1 of Elasticsearch, and so the more like this actually opens the way to vector search, and actually it uses term vectors internally in Elasticsearch. Just very quickly about zero results optimization, which is an issue in e-commerce. You try to not not provide like pages with zero results, and you try to move on and to provide something to the user, no matter what the query was. About synonyms, so we will not get into synonyms and how to handle synonyms and extensions. We will just direct to this talk that was done at Elasticsearch, an Elasticsearch meetup, that again goes into all the details around synonyms with Elasticsearch and also extensions, so like directional synonyms. And this is the takeaways that we took from this talk. So we summarized this talk in this slide here. So yeah, we talk about synonym graph token filter there. We have some nice options that are important to use, and you also have some caveats and some attention points that you have to take care of, like conjunctions with other filters there. And yeah, to make a transition here, as I said, there are a lot of companies that are using Elasticsearch for e-commerce, and each e-commerce deployment is different, and this is maybe why you don't have like a vertical solution, one fits all solution for e-commerce. But you have plenty of e-commerce solutions, and we will show now how we will take as an example a deployment that has its specific needs and its specific implementation with Elasticsearch and Kibana.
Yes, so welcome to Carrefour. Carrefour is I'm sure you know Carrefour. It's an international brand of grocery stores. Carrefour is also an online e-commerce, huge e-commerce website with its website carrefour.fr. There is also a non-food shopping assistant that helps you make your searches for non-food products. There is, on the website, you can choose your physical store, your store, and access it, so that you make really you are in the store when you do your shopping. So yeah, Carrefour specific issues are that there are actually brick and mortar stores which have their specificities. We expect a lot of features coming from this world, the brick and mortar world. So you need people want to get the same behavior on the web as on the store. In a store, like you would like to see the products you need in front of you, have a fluent navigation in the different places, suggestions of products, see in a glimpse whatever you need to buy. The data is specifically heterogeneous, meaning that you have the store itself, but also things that only are available on the web, like coming from other stores with delivery possibilities, or also marketplace with third-party vendors providing a lot of products. So this is very different from the store itself. The number of products is different. You handle it actually very differently. And data on the top coming to the search engine will be heterogeneous. So the first thing we did in the implementation of the search engine for this specific case was to define a common schema to model the data, keep the index consistent, and most of all, be able to search through the different indexes at the same time using the multi-index searches in Elasticsearch. So this was really important to keep the search engine very consistent and make it possible to ingest any data on any format coming. There is also a need of scaling because, of course, this is a big website. We are in the mobile world, so one request must be very, very fast, otherwise the customers goes somewhere else and does not expect it to end. So the response time for the search engine must be less than 500 milliseconds, so that the full request is less than 1 second. Ingestion, as I said, is huge and comes all the time. So you have a lot of batches coming, full indexing every night, and also delta indexations during the day with the price updates, availability updates, product updates coming all the time. So a lot of updates. We need endpoints to be available for several applications, the web application, the mobile applications, but also internal things, crawlers, third-party crawlers, and well, a lot of people needs to access the search. The most important for Carrefour currently is the main front end, so carrefour.fr, the website, so full integration, security, and robustness. So our example, what we did is based on Elasticsearch. So in the center, you can see you have Elasticsearch. Inside Elasticsearch, we'll find the indexes, so all the data, but also the configuration, the settings, and the mappings will be very linked to what we need to do with the stores and how we need to present the data at the search time. And there are two main jobs that we do. The part that is before and during the indexation, so getting any stream coming, any data in any format, and make a lot of optimization, structure the data, fit to the model so that the search will be the fastest possible. So this is the indexing part, and there is also the search part that we do it providing a Elasticsearch plugin, which will add a layer that masks a bit of the complexity of what can be a search query on the e-commerce indexes. So we will search on catalogs with filters. We'll provide the facets directly in the response so that the search query is made simpler. To manage all that, you will find the business console we mentioned at the beginning, so that we can fine-tune and configure even manually things like as you were placing products in the stores. Yeah, so we handled the fact that we have a lot of brick-and-mortar stores by we tried different options and decided finally to separate and to put several, well, one index per store. First of all, we did one index per store, like we duplicate the product information and have, because we have different offers, because each physical stores want to put his price or do what his or her thing, we needed to to separate the data, and we decided to put one index per store. And also, when tuning your search engine, we wanted to give the possibility to tune store per store. when someone changes something somewhere or makes, even in a case of errors, the thing will not be for everyone, only one store at the time. We have several clusters containing a lot of stores. We need several clusters because when we have a lot of indices with a lot of updates, the thing is that the cluster state will increase. So we need to have different clusters of Elasticsearch clusters. And we have a routing function that will route the API endpoints to the right cluster. And in every cluster, you will also find the different the indices that are common to everyone, like the central stores, the marketplace, everything that is common, and also the configuration. So yeah, here you can find the architecture that is in place actually in Carrefour. So in the center, Elasticsearch, of course. On the left, the indexing part that is capable of handling any type of data on the beforehand. In yellow, you can find them coming from several services also from the company. So it handles it, connects to APIs, or is able to get the files and index them. So this part is a very important indexing part. And on the right, you find also the search part that is able to provide services, search, but also autocomplete, navigation also through the different categories of products, and provides an API as well for any crawler. So there you can find also all the features that are called by the front ends. And as well, always the business console to configure it all. So to finish, a little checklist when you get to the e-commerce world, and most of all for the physical and brick and mortar stores, you need to adapt to the different specificities, and this is not easy. And sometimes you have to make choices, like we did by making one index per store, and we are still very happy with this solution we did. We use a schema when including large sets of data that are heterogeneous on the beginning, but it's important to keep the same structure of the index also for performance. Search response time is never negotiable on this world. This is very, very important. If there is any problem with the search response time, first thing is to work on the indexing, because this is where you can really optimize stuff and make the search queries the simplest possible. Monitor and learning what we see is very important. Think microservices, horizontal scalability. We didn't get this part today, but this is very important to, when we had bricks above and under Elasticsearch, that it's possible to be independent and independently managed. And to finish, security is not always only from, protecting from outside attacks. It can also be inside, like you make a configuration error, and this has to be handled and managed.
Yeah. So speaking about horizontal scalability, you have a nice improvement that comes in Elasticsearch 8.3, I think, or 8.4, that greatly improves the cluster state size. So you can scale, like, have more and more stores without necessarily exploding the cluster state and needing new Elasticsearch clusters. So we are really looking forward to upgrade to this version of Elasticsearch. Yeah, we are actually currently at 8.6, but yeah, starting with 8.4, there's a great improvement on the cluster state. Yes, so this brings us to the almost the end of our talk, and yeah, we hope that you find it interesting. If you want to learn more, there's a really a great starting point, which is the enterprise search / e-commerce section on the Elastic website. You have a lot of use cases that are addressed there. You have webinars, you have blog posts, you have a lot of documentation, so links to documentation to specific features that are useful for e-commerce implementations. And if you speak French, you can also like take a look at the training that we are giving on Elasticsearch for e-commerce developers. This was it. Have a great conference for the rest of the day. And
thank you.